The biggest competition in terms of competitors is over for another year. OSG, what a competition. So many classes, so many competitors, so many great performances. We're going to bring you all the top 3 from every single class and let you know some of our thoughts. So we were massively invested into this weekend. We've obviously been to OSG the last few years. We had to miss going there live as it was our daughter's birthday this year. But we made sure we were catching up with everything. We kind of thought we'd just watch a little bit here and there, but we just got drawn in straight away.
Honestly, I've lost so many hours this weekend. I barely slept. I'm absolutely haggard, but it was totally worth it, I think. I'm glad we watched it all.
Yeah, I firstly want to start with the production this year because, my goodness, they stepped it up a level. I really enjoyed watching along. It's always been hard watching OSG in the past because you just have 4 competitors there. Wasn't really too much in terms of information on the screen. This year, the infographics were incredible, the way they managed to keep on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, ADL, who host or kind of produce the show, did an incredible job. Just so good. Commentary was great all weekend. Really good listening to lots of different people jumping in and out. Mm-hmm. Gabe is a trooper for getting through. I mean, he did 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days, long days.
I think he did the longest hours out of everyone,
he
didn't
really
he?
did.
Yeah.
But listening to everyone jump in is always good. I actually like hearing different people's opinions and thoughts. I thought Evan Singleton was awesome on commentary, actually.
Yeah, he was
really funny,
good,
really good to see him on there. Lots of other people stepping in as well. But the production was fantastic. So if you do want to see it, and watch your favourites. It's easy to follow along because they did each class individually and all the names are up for every single person, so it made it so much easier than having to just continually to watch all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. The way that they grouped athletes and then allowed them to do all of their events for that day and then go. 1, it's so much better for the athletes. 2, it helps you as a viewer become more invested in those classes and those people because it's a lot fresher in your mind. And having the information about the event, exactly how much it weighs, and also the top 3 on that event so far is so valuable. It's like a lot of much bigger competitions could learn from it, I feel.
I totally agree. The only thing I would say that could be better is perhaps a timer for certain events.
Timer for certain events, yeah. But also a scoreboard in between. Once the class is done, then an overall, because we only ever got that top 3. We did have the spreadsheet, which was really handy, but there was definitely a bit of filler time where...
And talking of the spreadsheet, Liz will put the link to the spreadsheet down below.
Yeah.
We're only going to talk about the top 3 because obviously there's a lot of competitors.
Maybe with a couple of exceptions.
And obviously... I mean, there was hundreds and hundreds of competitors. The first 2 days whittled it down to the top 10 in each class. So we're going to bring you the results, starting off with the Women's Masters 50 Plus. So top 3 in this class, we have in 3rd place, Alison Dan, 2nd place, Carrie Poole, and in 1st place, the incredible Claire Myler. Takes the win in the over 50s. I think this is the 3rd time she's taken the win in this class.
Claire freaking Myler.
Incredible. I mean, her results were outstanding. She really dominated this competition. And
didn't only compete in this class. We should point out she also did the 82s this year.
Which she did very well in as well. And we'll talk about that in a second.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to the under 64 kilo women's then. No Rhiannon Lovelace this year. Obviously a multi-time champion. So a little bit of a changing of the guard here. And in 3rd place was another athlete who did not just do one competition this weekend, all the way from Australia as well, Camilla Fogagnolo. She took 3rd place here. Then we had Meg Latter from New Zealand taking 2nd place. And finally, Crystal Stanchek from the USA taking that top spot on the podium. A nice multicultural
definitely.
podium.
Australia, New Zealand and the USA represented in the women's 64s. In the women's lightweight masters competition, we had in 3rd place Jenny Roberts from the USA, Laura O'Connor-Butler, also from the USA, and then taking the win, Britain's very own Meg Robson-Austin. Congratulations to all 3 getting on the podium in this new class.
Yeah, you didn't watch the awards ceremony, but I did, and Meg was super emotional. We've known Meg for a really long time, actually, haven't
Lovely
we?
lady, and great to see her get the win in this. I'm sure it means the world to her.
So on to the 73 kilo women's then, and this is a big name class, isn't it, in the women's competitions. We've got the likes of Chloe Brennan, Laura DeBert Romley, who has improved massively these last couple of years. Camilla Fogagnolo, who was in the 64 kilo class. Nancy Johnson has won this competition before. Erin Murray has won this before as well. So a really, really stacked class. And Erin really, she did a big cut for this, didn't she? Huge cut, and it paid off. She took first place on that podium with Nancy Johnson behind her in second place, and then Camilla in her second class. She is an under 64 kilo athlete usually, but
fantastic. To get on 2 podiums as a competitor is truly amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Do you think it was a mistake? Because obviously she didn't win either of the classes. Do you think, 64 would have been a given if she hadn't done the 73s?
I don't know that it would have been a given because every class is competitive. Of course. But clearly you're asking yourself to do 14 events rather than 7 events.
Crazy, yeah.
Now, some people might see it as a warm-up, but eventually by day 3, that fatigue is going to start kicking in, not just physically, but mentally as well. I personally wouldn't do 2 classes. However, if she wants to do it, I'm not going to stop her, you've got to support that kind of determination, and it takes guts to do something like that. So I'm certainly not going to hold it against her. It's very impressive, but when you're going up against the likes of Nancy Johnson and Erin Murray, you've really got to commit to really having a chance of beating them. I mean, Nancy, so good to see her back after horrible injury she had a couple of years ago on the car walk. You saw that emotion when she did the car walk in this competition. And obviously I've been working with Erin now for a while. She is a phenomenal athlete. We peaked perfectly for this competition. I've got to give a massive shout out to Spencer, who does her nutrition. He's done an amazing job getting her to hit weight perfectly, because people were saying she looked dead in the weigh-ins. And they've managed to hydrate her back up, and she has performed exceptionally well. Super proud of Erin, and I'm looking forward to what we've got next, and we don't have to worry about any weight cuts for her next contest. Okay, we move on to the Masters women, and in third place we have Michaela Persson from England. In second place, I'm not even going to attempt to butcher this name, but Miss Wilson from New Zealand came in second place. If anyone can help me out with the pronunciation, I would love it. But the winner of this class, Naomi Hadley, also from the UK. Naomi is a fantastic athlete. Obviously, we've seen Naomi many times, and she thoroughly deserves this title. Not someone that people often talk about, but consistently performing well. And when you're going up against some of the best in the world, that she always has to, in the likes of Lucy, Rebecca, Donna, Andrea.
It's hard to look good sometimes.
It is, but what a competitor she is, and congratulations on taking the win.
Now we move on to the under 82 kilo women's. Now, last year's winner of this class was actually Erin Murray, who wasn't competing there this year. She was in the 73s. Nadia Stowers is a 2-time champion though. And, Nadia had an excellent start to this competition, but it did not all go her way, did it? She picked up an injury on the last day of the qualifying, on the last event actually, that sandbag medley, but she pushed through and it was enough. The absolute queen made it through, and she took first place in the 82 kilos for the 3rd time, and just missing out on that first place spot. On the stone she lost out. It was Sabrina Retzer from Germany. Nice to see another nationality represented on the podiums. And then in 3rd place, it was Claire freaking Myler. Once again, Claire was actually leading this competition at one point. This class, she was leading both of the classes going into the final, I'm sure, which in itself is an incredible achievement. But the fact that she held podium here in her weight class that she had to cut for, of course, and took the win in the Masters 50 plus, she really is an incredible
What's incredible
person.
About Claire, I mean, we've already talked about Claire, but
she
deserves
everywhere.
it again. She's in her 50s and she's still getting better.
Well,
that is inspiration to all of us.
She's quite new to strongwoman. She's done obviously sports in the past. She did bodybuilding. She had that gym strength coming in, but she's still quite new. She doesn't have the miles on the clock like a lot of the masters.
I'm going to take a small bit of credit because she came and trained yoke with me a couple of times, and suddenly she's putting some awesome yoke.
Suddenly she's winning yokes.
We did it, Claire. We did it. No, Claire is amazing. She's got an amazing team around her.
Honorary team loss for the yoke, though.
Just for the yoke.
Just for the yoke.
Just for that one event, I'm taking a smidgen of credit.
I take it all.
Congratulations to all 3 of you. And we move on to the Women's Open. Now, this one had me on the edge of my seat.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, heavy investment into the Women's Open. And, I mean, the favourite coming into this competition was Rebecca Roberts. But Rebecca picked up she broke her finger a couple of weeks ago. So, talking to her before this, I was like, this isn't about you being at your best. This is about you being tough and mentally strong and just doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
And we were talking all the time between events and stuff, and she did exactly what she needed to do. Took the win. Third place was Jennifer Lyle, who was fantastic all weekend. I should point out, I mean, she slipped to 5th in the end, but Cherry was unbelievable. The improvement that I've seen in her over the last few years, so good. It was just the last event really cost her.
She had a nightmare on the stones.
But the last event was won by one of my clients who's been with me for a long time now, Jackie Ochevsky from Canada, taking 2nd place in World's Strongest Woman is just huge. And she was so happy. Seeing her so happy on the podium, I was so proud of her. She did amazing. So Team Loz taking 1st and 2nd in the Women's Open.
That's really nice.
It's pretty damn cool. But proud of both of you. And, you know, all the women in the final were fantastic. But, yeah, it's a special moment for me seeing 2 of my athletes in 1st and 2nd place.
So on to the men's classes then, starting with the under 80 kilo men. Now this was exciting right until the very end. Going into the Atlas Stone, we had a 3-way tie for 1st place. So no one could afford any mistakes at all. It was just nail biting for poor Loz, who also had an athlete competing there. In 3rd place, we had Josh Kowalski from the USA. In 2nd place, it ended up being former champion Tommy Lynn Laval. And then in 1st place, Dylan Thompson, your client. You were absolutely over the moon, weren't you? I've never seen him, like, you were nervous going
really
into
nervous.
that stage. Yeah.
I mean, Dylan, again, is an athlete that's been working with me for a long time. And we've been to OSG before, and he's had good performances, and he's been getting better each year. But the big thing with Dylan was making him believe he could win this.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying before, you can do this. And when I tell someone they can do it, I'm not blowing smoke about it. It's like, if I say they can do it, I believe they can do it. And, you know, he's worked so hard. We've pushed him so damn hard in training. There's been times he's like questioned how hard I've been pushing him. But it's paid off. I'm super proud of this guy. He works so hard, and to see that progress, it's been a special moment for me. You know, like I said, I've been with Dylan for a long time. We've been working hard towards this, and I am super proud of you, young man. You did incredibly well. You know, to beat the likes of the guys in that class, stacked class again. And yes, Dylan Thompson taking 1st place, and another world champion for Team Loz. Men's Masters 50 plus, and there is only one man you talk about when it comes to over 50 strongman. Mark Felix with another win, another world champion for championships for the incredible Mark Felix. Peter Rumberg from Sweden taking 2nd place, and George Persson in 3rd.
Yeah, Peter gave Mark a run for his money though. It didn't all go Mark's way. It wasn't a mogging, was it?
Not at all. I mean, you know, these over 50s are strong.
Yeah, they are.
And Mark has some events where there's question marks still, but yeah, in the end, far too good. And Mark's still looking incredible. They're going to have to create an over 60s class very soon for him.
Oh no, I can't cope with more classes, please. On to the under 90 kilos men then, and this is truly one of the most stacked classes in the whole show, to the point where former world champion Nikolai Meyer did not make the final. CJ Cruz, another favourite and namestay at this competition, did not make the final. It truly was a bloodbath just to get through. We had the likes of John Hack making his debut appearance at official Strongman Games, but in the end, 3rd place went to Tyler Davis from the USA. Andrew Haynes from the USA took 2nd place. I hope I don't butcher his name, but 19-year-old Filip Zacek from the Czech Republic took the win. An incredible performance by him. He doesn't look like a strongman, and I'm not being rude. You know what I mean, don't you?
Compared to some of the other guys that look like muscular,
more
and powerful.
Dense,
yeah, he looks quite slight in
he's
comparison.
athletic looking, yeah.
Unbelievable performance. Mitch Hooper's favourite athlete of the weekend.
He called in on our live stream to make sure we talked about him. He was
19 years old, probably the most stacked class.
Yes.
You know, the competition in this under 90 kilo class was incredible. I mean, Dan Benson's amazing. John Hack in 6th place. Super proud of John. Had the privilege of working with him for the last 3 months up to this competition. He is going back and focusing on powerlifting now, but I said to him if he ever wants to do strongman again to get in touch. I think a year focused on strongman, John Hack would be a machine, but obviously it's just a bit of a side quest for John. Yeah. But yeah, pleasure to work with him, and his day 2 was unbelievable.
Yeah, he had a great day too. He won the deadlift, and then he won the
deadlift was expected, but it was the
loading, sandbag medley. Yeah, I don't think, and these types of classes, the under 80 men and the under 90s, they're so fast, aren't they? Technically good.
Shout out to Jake Allen, who is absolutely phenomenal, doing amazing. But yeah, the top 3 in this class, unbelievable. And Philip not only won, he dominated this class.
Yeah, he really did. He was awesome.
Really was incredible. So another new class for this year was the men's Masters 40s lightweight class. Our top three was Chris Schwantz in third place, second place Kip Leitner, and in first place Paul Mwanza from Zambia. Seen this guy a few times before. Really lovely guy, and great to see him come in and get the win in this class.
Moving on to the under 105 men then, and this is another very competitive class, close right until the end. In the end, in third place, we had Stephen Bradley from the USA, Nick Hine from the USA taking second place, and it went to Alex Sukup, also from the USA, all USA podium in this class. It was exciting though, wasn't it? Lots of ups and downs, especially in the final day with things like the sandbag toss.
The 105 class, again, another stacked class, different things happening on each event, and the top three thoroughly deserve to be in that top three. A different day, it could have been different guys. Well, we said this about a lot of the classes, but yeah, top three thoroughly deserving their places. So the Masters 40 plus, I had an athlete in this one and he absolutely dominated. Matt Webb taking the win. Now, Matt has been there or thereabouts for the last few years. He's been on the cusp of taking a win at OSG. Contacted me about 4 months ago. I was asking if we can help prep him, and he's been a pleasure to work with. He's just listened to the plan, he stuck to it, peaked perfectly. He's absolutely dominated this competition.
Well, he won before the Atlas Stones. He was the only athlete.
He did a Mitch Hooper.
He did a Mitch, yeah. Oh,
Matt
maybe
Webb,
that's your speciality.
super proud of Matt. Second place was Danius Repsi from Lithuania. Lithuania, obviously, strongman powerhouse nation. And then in third place, we had Daniel Pledger from the USA.
Right, we're getting to the meat now, Lasse.
There's some serious meat. This was the biggest class and perhaps the most stacked class of the contest.
And probably the most stacked men's open we've ever seen at official strongman games as well. 50 athletes competing. And even though this is the only one that's not a world title, but I feel there's the most at stake here because, of course, the top three guaranteed an invitation now to Giants Live. In the last couple of years, we have seen that top three also go on to the World's Strongest Man the following year as well. So lots at stake. Those guys have seen what other guys have gone on to do. The likes of Pablo Cordiaca, Luke Richardson, Evan Singleton is a great OSG success story. Anywho, it was very, very close, very nerve-wracking, especially for Coach Lars.
Again, I mean, I had 4 athletes in the men's open.
Yes, you did.
And unfortunately, 3 of them didn't make the final. I say unfortunately because 2 of them I thought had a real good chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this was such a strong lineup of athletes. There were 4 former World's Strongest Man competitors, and only 1 of them made the final. That's how stacked this lineup is. If you are wanting to find out who the next generation of top athletes are, this is your lineup to look at.
100%.
Third place, Tim Buck from the USA. Tim has had a phenomenal year, just improving all the time. Again, someone that can hang with absolutely, like every one of these 10 in this final, you could put them into a Giants Live and they will hold their own.
Yeah, well, look, Spencer Remick is the one World's Strongest Man competitor who made the final. He ended up in 8th place, and he has done okay at Giants Live.
And I mean, if we dive deeper than that and look at the individual results on certain events, there's, Jack Osborne on the log lift. I'll bring out Jack, but Jack won the log lift. Clear winner in a lineup like that with 172 kilo log for reps is unbelievable. Josh Spurgeon, unbelievable deadlift performance. Nick Guardione, incredible on the medley.
Yeah.
There was so many amazing performances, and you just think these guys could be anyone at certain events.
Yeah.
Once they can bring that consistency up,
bring it all together,
they could well be the guys that are winning future comps. So the lineup's incredible, but the top 3, Tim Buck taking 3rd place, Bryce Johnson, this man is a monster.
He is huge, isn't
Absolutely
he?
huge. They were actually tied on points in the end, Tim and Bryce, but Bryce took the win on the stones.
Yes.
And at OSG and World's Strongest Man Giants Live, it's the last event rule, so he takes 2nd place. And then Liz's athlete in this one, good friend, Nick Guardione, who has had an incredible year. Nick took the win at the Arnold Amateurs.
Yeah. 2nd place at the Shore Classic Open.
And he's just come in 1st place at OSG. He has got a huge year coming up ahead of him.
Absolutely.
Without question, one of the rising stars in the sport. Congratulations to Nick.
It did not all go his way, though. That car walk had him in 13th place going into the sandbag medley, which was the last event before the final, and he needed to really pull something out of his ass. But he had said to the commentary team, this is my event.
Yeah,
he's great with a sandbag. He won the Amateur Arnolds with a heavy sandbag to shoulder, won that. Then he won the sandbag toss loves a bag. And then he just did exactly what he needed to do on the final two events.
I mean, the men's open, the results were all shifting all over.
Man, it was
such
stressful.
a competitive class.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know some of the guys that I coached that didn't make the final, they're disappointed, but they will learn.
Oh, of course,
you know, for all of the guys out there that didn't make the final, OSG is such a huge opportunity, and it's an experience that's only going to benefit you as long as you take it in the right way. You know, I look back at my career and there's been plenty of highs, but there's been plenty of lows. But you learn from those mistakes. Being in competitions like this is only going to make you better in the long run. I want to say a quick rundown for all of my athletes that competed. I had Sonia Schofield in the women's masters. Now, Sonia was massively out of her depth competing in this competition. I am super proud of her. She managed to hit 3 PBs, only zeroing one event. Before this competition, she'd never hit the weights to do 3 of those events. So massively out of her ability, but she pushed herself, and I'm super proud of her. Scott Dees in the men's open. I am proud of you, buddy. You've had a super tough year. He tore his bicep earlier in the year. His father passed away this year, and he's had lots of challenges to deal with. Things didn't go his way, but he kept fighting. And I know from talking to him, he's feeling positive about what he can do in the future. Andrew Burton in the men's. He was probably the biggest disappointment for both of us, because he has had such an incredible year. He just came third at the Magnusfjord Magazine Classic.
But maybe it was just
he was
too
amazing
soon.
at America's Strongest Man. But these things happen in competition. I've already got things planned. I'm having a chat with him tonight, and we will make plans going
You can't
forward.
afford a bad day at OSG.
With 50 athletes in a lineup, one bad event just suddenly costs you.
Yeah.
Jack Osborne. Jack was in first place after event 1.
Yes.
He, you know, fractions on things. He had a bad start or bad pickup on the car walk, which ended up putting him 11th rather than he probably would have been top 5 if that didn't happen, because the actual run was good. Deadlift, I thought he could get 2 reps. He only managed 1, so we need to go and work on the deadlift. But this was his first time at such a high level competition, and you know, Jack is just improving all the time. He's had some great results as well this year. And Josh in the men's open was someone I'm so proud of, and I think Josh is going to be a unbelievable strongman.
Yeah.
There are still areas that we need to work on. Needs to be a bit more explosive and powerful through the hips on throwing events, but his deadlift is world class.
Yeah.
And you know, he won the Strongest Man or the Shore Classic. He'll be competing in the Strongest Man on Earth next year, so we've got big things to focus on. In the women's class, Melissa Edwards was one of my women that didn't make the final, but she did incredibly well. She's come back from a stroke.
Wow.
And it's about building that confidence and getting her back to her best. And again, proud of her. Obviously, super proud of Jackie and Rebecca, first and second place in the women's open. Erin Murray is just a pleasure to work with. This young lady is a freak of nature, hard-working, determined, and I am just proud to be a part of your team. You're an incredible athlete.
Is that everyone?
Nope.
Oh, God, keep going.
John Hack asked me to help him on
John.
this prep. Okay, so John, you know, it's been a pleasure working with you. Now he's going back to powerlifting. John did this as just a side quest.
Yeah.
You know, the guy is, in my opinion, the best powerlifter out there in terms of pound for pound and his ability on all 3 lifts. I'm convinced if he spent a year focusing on strongman, he would be unbelievable. Matt Webb, you know, just... what can you say? He dominated. The most dominant performance of the weekend. Unbelievable, buddy. In the under 105s, I had Gav Bruce from Scotland. He ended up in 22nd place, but your first time at this level comp, did incredibly well. Looking at his individual results, absolutely awesome. And finally, Dylan Thomas. I was just like a proud papa watching him. He's worked so hard. The big thing with Dylan was making him believe that he could do it himself. I cannot tell you how proud I am of you, buddy. You did so well. I want him to kind of move up to the 90s. I think he wants to do one more comp at under 80s. But yeah, he is just a phenomenal person, an amazing athlete. And I'm proud of every single one of my athletes. Had so many friends competing this weekend.
Yeah.
I think OSG was an incredible weekend. The whole team, Lynn Morehouse, that man does such a good job, and he has a great team that he works with. ADL on the production. Guys, support this show, because this is the show for the grassroots. This is the show that gets you into the door of strongman. For the open heavyweights, this is your opportunity to, no matter where you are in the world, if you think you're good enough, come to OSG. You could end up being at Giants Live at World's Strongest Man, and obviously it is the World Championships for all these different classes. Everyone that competed, congratulations. I know how tough it is to just be in that arena. We have so much respect for every single one of you. Love Strongman. I love this weekend. I hope you guys did too. Don't forget, like, share and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time.